Hello friends, welcome to Insights ICANN initiative. In today's video, we are going to discuss on the ED and ED powers. Here ED stands for Enforcement Directorate. Why we are discussing about the ED now? Because there are two things. One is ED dealing with a particular money laundering case in Tamil Nadu minister. In Tamil Nadu, which is related to one minister in Tamil Nadu. And yesterday, ED also arrested one IAS officer. So in these two contexts, we are going to discuss about what are the observations of courts on ED powers and the ED structure and many more things we are going to discuss in this video. First, as usually, we will do the syllabus mapping. It is related to Gender Studies, Paper 3, Statutory, Regulatory and various quasi-judicial authorities. Gender Studies, Paper 2, that is Indian Polity. Now we will see the components of the syllabus or components of this video. In this video, we are going to discuss about why it is in news. I have given some hint regarding why it is in news. Then Enforcement Directorate, the structure of it. And what are the court observations regarding the ED in previous times. Then we will discuss about how ED functions and through what laws ED exercise its powers, such as FERA and PMLA. Then we will discuss about what are the challenges facing by the ED and what are the limitations facing by the ED. We will discuss. Few days back, I think 2 weeks back, we discussed about ED in the context of the extension of tenure to ED director. At that time, Supreme Court given an orders that the ED director has to be removed by July 31st. In that context, we discussed about the tenure and everything about the ED. I will keep that video in cards. Please check that video so I'll get an overall view. Now, first we'll see the context. The context, first thing is regarding Tamil Nadu. The second one is related to the state of Chhattisgarh. First one is the Madras High Court. Madras High Court held that the Tamil Nadu minister arrest, it was legal in nature. This arrest was made by the ED and it also extended the further judicial custody in this money laundering. I tell you what is this judicial custody means. So in Tamil Nadu, ED arrested a minister under his role in suspicious scam, that is cash for job scam. He appealed to the court that already the custody is done with the 15 days. According to the previous judgment of Supreme Court, police custody cannot be 15 days. The case was examined by the court and the court given judgment in favor of the ED that minister can take it into custody beyond 15 days but judicial custody. And in another case, ED arrested senior IAS officer Ranu Sahu in connection with the alleged coal scam. These are the two news related to ED. Now first, let me explain, students. ED stands for Enforcement Directorate. In India, financial crimes, especially investigated by ED. Actually, ED operated with two laws, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The following two examples, that IAS officer and Tamil Nadu minister, they were mainly arrested under PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Even ED also operates under FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. This act was made in 1999, whereas Prevention of Money Laundering Act was made in 2002. If you remember, even the 86th Constitution Amendment Act, which added right to education, Article 21A, it was also in the same year, 2002. First, here you have to understand what is this money laundering. So this prevention of money laundering. What is this money laundering? Students, money laundering is all about acquiring property, or having certain money, or having gold, or whatever it may be. So the having certain financially important thing and which was gained by illegal manner. That means money laundering is all about you are converting the unaccounted money into accounted money. Unaccounted money into we are converting into the accounted money. That means illegitimate, illegitimate, illegitimate money we are converting into legitimate. Very, very important. Legitimate money. Okay, this is what money laundering. Of course, in money laundering, where there are various steps like placing, layering, integration, there are various steps regarding the money laundering. Okay, now the minister was arrested under Money Laundering Act. Okay, actually to prevent money laundering, even Government of India nowadays they are revising the double taxation avoidance agreement. Double taxation avoidance agreement. These agreements also been revising by the Government of India. This is about tax cannot be imposed in two countries. In this context, I will ask you one question, students. So tell me, from which country highest amount of the FDI is coming into India? From which country high amount of FDI coming into India? So there you will understand why FDIs are coming from very small countries, because the people are misusing this double taxation avoidance agreement. Okay, now we'll see what are the court observations. Already we discussed. Court supported the ED that the minister custody can be extended. Here you have to understand, students, one more thing. Arrest. Okay, so here arrest can be two types, students. Arrest can be two types. After committing a crime, that is known as punitive detention, whereas someone can be taken to detention before committing crime, that is known as preventive detention. Rights related to arrest, they were covered by Article 22 regarding the arrest. Once a person is arrested, obviously you know that, students, within 24 hours the person has to submit before the nearest magistrate. Within 24 hours, excluding the journey time. Okay, magistrate can refer the person's custody for further investigation. He can refer either for the police custody, or magistrate can refer for the judicial custody. Police custody means the custody is under the supervision of police, whereas judicial custody, it is in the supervision of judiciary. Generally the person will be sent to prison. Okay, generally it is considered as more safe and it protects the human rights very effectively. So these are the various ways. According to the previous judgments, Supreme Court mentioned that a person's police custody cannot be more than 15 days. If it is more than 15 days, then the agency has to seek the judicial custody but not the police custody. This was the previous Supreme Court observations. Now we will see some more observations related to this ED powers. Let's see here. ED can interrogate any person under PMLA even though the that 15 days is being expired. Okay, so this High Court, Madras High Court, it departed from the previous judgment given by the Supreme Court in 1990s. So here it is supporting the ED that it can take a person's custody beyond the 15 days from his arrest. First point number you have to understand. And Madras High Court also supported the previous judgment given by the court in Supreme Court in Vijay Madan Lal Chaudhary versus Union of India. In this case, Supreme Court given a judgment that ED officials are not police. Madras High Court also accepted with the same views. ED officials are not police officials. Why? Because whatever the statement you are giving to police officials, it will not be used as a evidence under CRPC. Whereas statements given to ED, they will use as a evidence under ED, that is PMLA Act. That is the difference. Okay, the statement given to police, it cannot be used as evidence under CRPC. Now if you go further regarding the Vijay Madan Lal Chaudhary versus Union of India, here actually in this case the petitioner challenged the unlimited powers given to ED. That means ED can search someone's property even without warrant. That was challenged. That was related to section 19. Section 19 of PMLA suggested that in which manner a person can be arrested if ED suspected that the person is related to money laundering. Here The court supported that ED can arrest a person even without a warrant. And ED also upheld that such kind of powers are required so that ED can function smoothly and ED can prevent the money laundering in the best interest of the nation. So, Supreme Court supported ED arresting a person without warrant. One more thing you have to understand, students, ED cannot take cases on suo motu basis. ED cannot take cases on suo motu basis. Suo motu means on its own. That means ED will come into action only someone gives the complaint. Okay. Next, in Manik Bhattacharya versus Ramesh Malik 2022, in this case, Supreme Court clearly given an order that in the ED case, interim bail cannot be given. Interim bail means, so during the investigation, a person gets bail if he rejected with the regular bail. So interim bail cannot be given. And if court given any interim bail against CBI or some other organization, it will not applicable to ED. It will not applicable to ED. In the Chidambaram versus ED case 2019, here Supreme Court mentioned that in ED cases, a person cannot get the anticipatory bail, because if a person get anticipatory bail, that affects the investigation of ED. That is about the anticipatory bail. And Supreme Court also mentioned that court will involve in the ED investigation by using section 482 of CRPC only when ED is misusing its powers. When it is convincing that the ED is misusing its power and ED is doing the investigation with malified intention. These are the court observations. Okay, just we will do the summary of court observations. In the present case, court supported the investigation beyond 15 days. That's the first thing. And we also discussed about Vijay Madan Lal versus Union of India. Here, court supported that ED can inquire or investigate without warrant, and anticipatory bail cannot be given. In the case of Manik Bhattacharya and P. Chidambaram versus Director of Enforcement also, anticipatory bail cannot be given, so that the investigation can go in a very smooth manner. Next, ED. We will see the structure of the ED, established in 1956. Earlier, its name was Enforcement Unit and it was placed under Department of Economic Affairs. Later, its name changed in 1957 to Enforcement Directorate. Now it comes under the administration control of Department of Revenue under Ministry of Finance. Function. Like I said earlier, ED operates under FEMA 1999 and PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. Under these two acts, ED can attach someone's property, ED can arrest, ED can seize someone's property, and ED can search in various cases. Statutory functions. Apart from PMLA and FEMA, ED also associated with some other laws such as FEOA, Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. Fugitive, a person who committed economic crime and escaped to another country, like Vijay Mallya and some other people, Nirav Modi and all these things. And ED also functions under COFI-POSA. Powers of ED. Like I said earlier, they can investigate, they can freeze assets, they can attach the property, they can arrest. And even you have to remember, students, ED also can arrest, ED can take the help of some foreign agencies also. Okay. And the ED performance directly related to, even the controlling of black money. In the international level also, when they are assessing a country's control in black money, they will take the functioning of the ED. Okay, very, very important. Especially, when country is given the blacklist or grey list, during those times also, the countries, performance in controlling of money laundering will be taken into consideration. Okay. Next, money laundering and how does ED deals with it. I already explained what is the money laundering stands for and why the people will do the money laundering, obviously to avoid the tax or to avoid the crime. What is the impact? Money laundering have a serious implications on the economy as well as the national security. The powers of ED. ED is the one which is the designated one which will investigate the money laundering case, and they can initiate inquiry only after filing the some complaints. Then ED starts inquiry. ED generally cannot take suo motu cases, and as already we discussed that they can attach the property, and even they can take the help of the foreign agencies also, students. Allegations. The main allegations on ED is number one, lot of political involvement, and the second one is ED is not having enough manpower. These are one of the two allegations respectively, and the functioning of the ED is not being transparent. Of course, that is the result of the excessive involvement of the politics or governments. Challenges. Sometimes unnecessarily ED being used as a political weapon. So conclusion. The conclusion is, so ED has been given the powers to uphold the financial and economic interest of the country, but these powers given to ED, they must be used in a very judicious manner under constitutional provisions. This is the conclusion. And yesterday's question, which of the following statement best reflect the impact of India's nuclear test in 1974? The answer is A. India's nuclear test isolated India completely in terms of diplomatically, and economic sanctions were imposed on India. This is the right statement which is related to 1974. Rest of these things not happened due to nuclear test, India's first nuclear test. Okay. Next question. With reference to ED, consider the following statement. It is mandated that ED is mandated with the task of enforcing the FEMA and PMLA, first statement. ED is a statutory body, second statement. Like CBI, ED Directorate can also register a case on its own, third statement. Tell me, students, which of the following statements are right? Next, Mains question. Investigation into financial violations and cases of money laundering are handled by ED, a central agency. Its functioning has been criticized for its inefficiency and biased and selective manner. How can ED deals with sophisticated financial crimes more effectively? That means, what kind of reforms you are suggesting in ED so that it can be more effective? As we reach to the end of this video, we'll quickly revise. In this video, we discussed about the jurisdiction of ED and implementation of various laws by the ED, and the ED powers of arresting a person and taking a person into custody and attaching property, and so various judgments from Supreme Court also we discussed. Apart from this, we also discussed about types of arrest and types of custody. Then we discussed about the structure of ED, functions of ED, challenges involved in the ED. This is about detailed analysis of the ED powers in relation to arrest.